2011, I was clueless. I had no idea how to start. I knew a few people who were preparing, so I used to ask them, and you can also do the same. I had no idea about Instagram and all this UPSC guide. Completely, I studied completely from the internet, and I used to do a lot of hit and trial. I used to go research on toppers, blogs. I used to read about the basic books. I mean, just to start with, basic books, NCRTs is, I think, very important. I used to read class 9, 10, 11 NCRTs of all subjects. And that is how you start. If you have your basics right and if your concepts are clear, then I think it's really easy to progress. For example, history, NCRT, the old NCRT, medieval, ancient, and modern. I think once you read it, if you're not giving history optional, I think this is actually quite enough. And if you want to read more, you can read Bipin Chandra, you can read Spectrum, and that is quite enough. And then for polity, as everyone knows, you have to read Lakshmikant and also NCRT. And for economics, read NCRT again, as well as Ramesh Singh. But also, I think you need to keep economics and politics. I think you need to keep updating yourself with current affairs. It's not to read the concepts. I think you can read NCRT as well as Ramesh Singh or Lakshmikant, but you need to keep updating yourself about all the new constitutional amendments. You need to keep abreast about all Supreme Court judgments taking place, such as the right to privacy. So many different things are taking place. So you need to keep reading the newspapers, and you need to keep reading current affairs. And for math, so I personally come from a humanities background, and even I used to be scared of math. But the thing is that the best part is that it's not very difficult. I think if you have studied math till class 10th, it's quite easy, and you need to practice a lot. That is very important. You have to keep practicing, especially for CSAT and especially for GS. Keep giving a lot of mock papers. There are so many mock papers you can give. You can give it online as well as you can order them. So sometimes, even though I didn't do coaching, I used to go to Delhi once a year during my preparation, and I used to go to Rajendra Nagar, and there are so many shops. So you go there and you check out, you see, so even the shopkeepers will help you pick out these books, and you can get a whole guide from them. So I used to pick up like 20 kg, books and just go home with it. So you get all sorts of, mock papers. Get it from all the coaching academies, and I think that's the best part about studying on your own, because that means you can mix and match, and you can develop your own style of learning. You can develop your own style of doing things, because I believe that not everyone has the same way of studying, and you have to learn it. But you can also always take help from others. You can always learn from others. So I would take all these mock papers and do it. A lot of people think that you have to finish the syllabus to start doing this mock papers. I don't think that's necessary. I think you can just start once you have covered, once you have started studying for UPSC for 2-3 months, I think you should start. Because you shouldn't keep waiting because the syllabus never ends. Believe me, UPSC syllabus is so vast that you cannot study. You cannot say that I have finished the syllabus. So if you keep waiting to finish the syllabus, then it's not going to help you. You have to start. And a lot of people tell me that, oh, I'm scared to start preparing, or what to do, how do I motivate yourself. You start, and then ultimately, on its own the motivation will come. You cannot wait till it gets over. So as I said, I was clueless when I started the exam, and a lot of people gave a lot of conflicting ideas about how to prepare, and it's quite a intimidating exam because the level of actually cracking it is 0.01%, I think. And that's why I think you have to do it in a very smart way. And the journey of preparation actually is also important, because even though you go through a lot of stress, you also learn a lot, and you can become a better person, a more well-informed person. And I think the whole journey prepares you to be patient. It prepares you to be a person who thinks about all the good things as well as the bad things that are taking place in the world, especially in India. And when you think about all this, you get the motivated on your own, because you feel that you want to contribute something to our country, to our society, and that is also very important. I get basic tips. I think, as I've said, you should thoroughly read the syllabus, and you should always keep it with you when you're studying every subject. And also when you start studying, be smart. I have friends who give optional in PSIR or history, and they were like engineering students or they were doctors, and they've never studied these subjects before, and somehow they managed to study in barely 3-4 months, and they did not even study that much. They used to study a few books or a few those compilations you get in Rajendra Nagar. So yeah, that is quite I think it all depends on how smart you are in preparing, and that's why I think you should always go through the last few years questions. You should go through mock papers, mock tests. You should go to toppers' blogs where they talk about their strategy. I don't think there's one strategy to crack this exam. There are many. That's why I think you should find out from as many people as possible, but also trust your own instinct, your own way of studying. Like I said, mine was mostly hit and trial. I studied the way I liked, and I felt what was most suitable for myself. And I used the internet extensively. For anyone doing the preparation without coaching, internet is your best friend. You have to use it wisely. Find out about the basic books of each subject. I get a lot of questions about this, and I think you can really find it out on your own, because there are many basic books. You don't need to go through all of them. You can pick and choose. 1 or 2 is enough. So I think you can do that on your own. I'll just give you a few tips. I cannot tell you how to prepare for the exam. You have to figure that out for yourself. I can just give you basic guide and basic tips. When you study a subject, I don't think it's enough to just go through it once, because I used to go through Lakshmikant, like I must have gone through around 10 times, and I still did not remember all of it. So you go through once, you go twice, you do mock tests, and I still got so many things wrong. So it's also a matter of how hard you work on something and how much time you're giving to something. So when you study a subject, be thorough with it. You don't have to read 5-6 books on one subject. Just read 1 or 2, but be thorough with it and be thorough with the concept. I would suggest insights. I think there must be new websites now, and there are different insights. There are different sites which you can use now. In my time, I gave the exam in 2017. So I used to use Vision, I used to use Insights, I used to use Forum IAS, IAS Baba. mRunal, and I'm pretty sure there are much more sites now, websites which you can use. The best part about coaching, as I said, is you can mix and of not taking coaching is that you can mix and match. So you can take so many of other coaching material and as well and use it on your own. And the thing is, even if you do take coaching, ultimately you have to study on your own. You have to prepare it on your own. A lot of people have also asked about taking notes. I was personally very lazy, so my notes were not very well maintained. And that's why, but I would advise people to take notes, short notes especially keywords and phrases. For example, if you're talking about, say, the non-aligned movement, then you have to mention the Panchsheel and you have to mention the Bandung conference. So you have to really listen about, you have to really keep these keywords and key phrases when you're taking down notes. The notes should be in such a form that when you go through it again, you immediately remember and recall the entire topic, the points, the arguments regarding this topic. So keep your points, keep your notes smart. The notes should be like a mind map for you. They should be crisp, and you should be able to recollect everything later on. Don't take too much time in taking notes also, because you have to study a lot and you cannot afford to spend so many days in just writing note for one topic. You have to move on. However, note taking is also a very good practice for answer writing when it comes to mains. I recommend that you do learn how to take notes. I will share one personal experience when during my GS1. So GS1 I did not do well because I wasted a lot of time. I was taking my time writing one answer, and then when I got stuck, I used to spend so much time thinking about it when I should have moved on. So I suggest that when you take notes, you also think about the time. And as I said, please do a lot of mock papers. Answer writing is really important. Mock tests even for prelims is very important because there is always a time limit. And if you forget that, then it's very difficult. So I made the mistake of not taking care of the time limit that much, and that's why I lost out on a bit. So I suggest you do that. You take the time into consideration. And also, best way to memorize things, because the syllabus is really vast, as I said, and it's not easy to remember everything. So if you go through some subject or topic, you try to understand it. You try to understand it in the context of how you can relate it in your own life. If you talk about caste problems, or if you talk about socio-economic backwardness, or even if you talk about environmental changes. Personally, in Manipur this year, there was a drought. The state government is about to declare Manipur as a drought-hit state. So if you're talking about global warming, and if you're talking about climate change, in your answer, you can also talk about the local problems and how it's affecting the climate change. I think it helps in your interview because they will be asking you how these things are actually impacting life at the administrative level. And that's why I think you need to actually relate it. And a lot of the things which you study will be interdisciplinary. You have to really think about how, say, climate change, it might impact economic prospects for the country. climate change. And I think this time, as the rainfall has been really erratic, there has been floods in Assam and Bihar, but there has been drought in Manipur and in other places as well. So I think this will actually help you write the questions, and it will actually help you when you administer, if you get selected and you become an administrator. This is supposed to prepare you on how you solve these problems and how you actually tackle this on the ground. Please apply your mind. When you study, please don't just think in terms of facts. I mean, facts and figures are also very important, but you also need to be able to analyze them, and you need to be able to come up with solutions. So when you criticize something or when you speak about any topic, you should also be able to come up with solutions. And I think that is the kind of personality and the bent of mind they are looking for, because in administration you need to solve a lot of problems, and the ability to solve problems, to come up with solutions, is really important. Whenever you study a problem, always think of possible solutions to it. Writing down, that's also writing down helps in memorizing. Solve papers, do lots and lots of mock papers, because that is the only way you will learn. You do not have to finish the syllabus to start the test. As I've said, you can already start, and you will know where you are faring badly. I mean, when you say do a paper on history, or if you do a paper on polity and you realize you're not doing well, then that means you need to focus on that. So I suggest you first, and I think mock papers also help you realize where you're going wrong and where you need to work on. So that is very important. Yeah, so I think I've mostly covered the basic idea of this. This is mainly for beginners. This might not be very helpful for people who already have started studying for 5-6 months. I don't think you need more than 1 year to prepare for this exam. I think if you study properly and if you use the important sources on how to get these, as I said, it's quite simple. You use the basic books and update yourself. Keep updating yourself and solve papers. For me, I feel these are the 3 important things. I don't think you need to do so many other things. And also keep a hobby. Because that is important for yourself, for your personality to develop, and also it's very helpful in your interview. And I think so far I've covered whatever I have to. So thank you so much. I also have to prepare for launch of the electoral roll verification tomorrow. Even though it's a Sunday, I have work. Yeah, it's as a life as an administrator is a lot of work, but I hope all of you will succeed and do well and learn to figure out your own strategy. I don't think it's helpful to say that someone cracked an exam or someone topped, that it's necessary that that strategy will work for you. So to crack it, you have to keep applying yourself. You have to keep updating yourself. I mean, when I cracked it, maybe the criteria were different. I think every year these things change. So you have to keep reading up. You have to, I think the internet is a great source of information.